G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino. It is time for episode 4 of The Acolyte. Now before we get into this episode, I have to say I usually try to avoid spoilers while I'm at work during the day because that's when these episodes drop. However, there was one thing that I really couldn't avoid, and that was the fact that I heard, that Mundi and Plo Koon were in this episode. Now I specifically want to talk about Mundi for a second. And I want to talk about the people that are trying to defend this. The cope that is actually going on right now is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Anything to try and highlight how good, quote unquote, this show is. It is an abomination of Star Wars. And every episode that comes out, we seem to just keep getting more destruction of lore, canon, and continuity. So I've got to address a couple of things here. First of all, I put this tweet out there just stating that Mundi shouldn't even be alive during this period. He was born 93 BBY. If you don't know what BBY is, it's before the Battle of Yavin. And the time period of the Acolyte takes place 132 BBY. Now, the first thing that I want to address is the people that are saying, if you know this, you're in too deep, you know too much, go out and touch grass, blah, 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 blah. It's not like that. I didn't know that Mundi was this old or this young and shouldn't even be alive during this period. But what happens when they put somebody like this in there? People go, oh, well, we're talking 100 years before Revenge of the Sith. Would he have been alive then? And they go and check, they do their research and they check it out. And then they find that no, he was born 93 BBY and he shouldn't even be alive. We're 40 years too soon in regards to seeing him, right? So I put this tweet out there. Obviously, that Mundi was born 93 BBY, and the events of the Acolyte take place 132 BBY. So it's not a fact that we all know this stuff. It's a fact that we care enough to actually check to see whether or not it actually should be like this. And of course, we're talking about lore and continuity here. No bigoted language, no hatred, even though I hate this because of what they're actually doing, which is legitimate, and it's an absolute abomination. This isn't Star Wars. It's so far removed from Star Wars that, again, they're changing the continuity and the lore so much that it isn't Star Wars anymore. It's something completely different. But also, too, I put this out there as well because, of course, this was what was on the Wikipedia before the episode aired. 93 BBY was his birth year. And then they changed it to 132 BBY. But hang on a second. If we go back to this, the events of the Acolyte take place 132 BBY. So that means if he was born 132 BBY, he is 0 years old. This is the year that he was born. Certainly wouldn't be a part of the Jedi Council, certainly wouldn't be a Jedi Master. He's just being born. So this is the cope, and this is the adjustments that they have to try and make to the canon and the lore and everything. And then, of course, there's people out there that say Legends was never canon. Well, guess what, guys? Disney thought that Legends was canon because they de-canonized it. I don't know how many times I have to say this. You can't de-canonize something that was never canon. How do you? Explain to me how you decanonize something that was never canon. Explain that to me. But again, I find that really funny how they try and run damage control and they say that he was born 132 BBY when the events of the Acolyte take place 132 BBY. Hilarious. Hilarious that this is where we're at. But also too, Syrians. I think that's how you pronounce their species, right? This was something that Zach put in that thread and basically just shows how long they sort of live for. They're a veteran when they're 65 years plus. But that must mean too, that because he was born 132 BBY, he is 113 years old. 113 years old when he dies. And the funny thing is that he was killed. He didn't die of natural causes. So he had plenty of life still to live. And the people out there want to say that this was never canon. This isn't the canon. Where in the canon or where in these shows does it explicitly say his birth year? These are the justifications that are now coming out. So if you guys want to use this as your reference now in regards to look, because there's been people out there that have said this. Look, it's 132 BBY is his birth year. Where in the show did it explicitly say? It must have said it in this episode of The Acolyte. It must have said that he was 132 BBY was his birth year. And you know the funny thing too is that I mentioned Plo Koon was in this episode as well, right? And I heard that Plo Koon was in this episode. You know why people aren't talking about that? Because he lived to be 185 years old. Is that not canon? Because it doesn't explicitly say in one of the episodes, one of the movies, or one of the episodes of television? Is that no longer canon anymore? Is the how the species live and the terms of their life, their lifespan? These are all things that have been really well thought out by George, by the original creators of this stuff. And they've specifically given species certain lifetimes, certain lifespans, and things like that. But yet these people are in cope mode so damn bad to defend this absolute abomination, this garbage. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why are you defending this? If you were ever a real Star Wars fan, and that's what us geeks and nerds do. It's like I said at the beginning, the first thing, right? These people that are saying, if you know this much, oh, you're in too deep, go outside and touch grass, blah, 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 blah. No, I didn't know it. But you know what I did when I found out he was in it? I scratched my head and thought to myself, would he be around at this time period? Would he be around in this era? And you go and have a look and no, he wasn't. But yet they'll change it, wrongly change it too, by the way, to see where, just to run damage control, like I said. Now, I don't know any context of the episode. I'm glad I was able to stay away from that stuff, right? But we'll have to wait and see whether or not Mundi's line about the Sith being extinct for a millennia has now been destroyed as well. We heard from Chris Gore throughout the week that there's going to be pronouns in this episode, Mundi pronouns in this episode, which is garbage in itself. So my next question, though, in regards to all of this, is me talking about the lore and canon and continuity of these specific characters, these specific creatures, these specific species, bigoted language? Is it just hatred to hate? No, it's fucking not. Is the fact that I love this franchise, I love diving into the lore, I love the characters. Oh, but Mundi was a nothing character. Yeah, okay, he was a nothing character. Doesn't mean his species doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean that the lore and the canon wasn't fleshed out for these characters. So get off your goddamn high horse, stop running damage control for Disney on such an abomination of Star Wars, and actually start seeing it for what it really is. I don't get it. I just don't get it. The funniest part of all of this is this bit, the damage control that they tried to run by changing his birth year. 132 BBY, and this takes place 132 BBY. So he's 0 years old in this moment in time. What an absolute joke. What an absolute joke. Anyway, that's my rant over and done with. We probably won't talk about this particular topic at the end of the video. We've already gone through it because this all got spoiled for me. It was too hard to keep my eyes off it. Unbelievable. But yet, you know, Plo Koon, that's okay. He would be around at this time period at 185 years old. Anyway, let's get stuck into this episode. Episode 4, we're expecting it, obviously, to be an abomination. We already know that it is based on just that one thing. So let's get straight into this. If you are new here, you get to see my reactions as I go through the episode and get to hear my review at the very end. Let's get into this. Oh, what was that? The tattoo that they put on all the witches? She's just standing there watching them.
Time.
For helping me find my sister, prove my innocence, clear my name.
I was just doing my duty.
You tried to blast her at your sister, stun her.
And thanks to you, I've seen her with my own eyes.
She looks happy about it. Didn't she try and stun her? Doesn't she hate her for burning down the entire coven? Like, have we just flip-flopped on that all of a sudden? By the way, this episode is called Day. How lazy.
I can't.
Oh my
Next
God,
time I'm
this
in
is so
Coruscant, I'll
lame.
look you up. And we'll go to a cantina and trade stories about Master Soul.
Did you say goodbye to him?
Maybe they can scissor as well. Okay, so this is the other thing too in regards to time in Disney Star Wars. So the last time we saw all of these characters, Osha and that, they were on the planet where Torben got killed, and they had to go back. Sol got ordered to go back to Coruscant so they could talk about it, right? So they go back to Coruscant. They're obviously back at Coruscant with enough time for the younger Padawan chick, that one there, this one, to go through a training session and everything. In the time that it took them to travel back to Coruscant, and who knows how long's gone by in this time period, it looks like May and the Asian Ezra Miller have arrived at the Wookiee planet. Time. Oh my God, this is... See, this is just stupid stuff that I notice, right? And it could just be me. I don't know whether or not anybody else noticed this, but these things, these canisters, right, that they're obviously taking stuff out of to put into their bags, their backpacks. That means that what they've done is they've landed, taken these canisters off the ship to bring them outside to pack their bags. Wouldn't they just do that on the ship and leave those canisters in the ship? Like, I know it's silly and it might be a nitpick, but it's still legitimate criticism. Why are they taking these canisters off to pack their backpacks when they can leave them on the ship and do it on the ship? It just doesn't make any sense. And again, this is the thing. They're already there. So let's see what happens between now and the Jedi obviously arriving to this planet. So there he is in all his glory, Mundi.
She is fine. Yet she eluded you.
Where's Yoda?
And she killed 2 Jedi Masters. She turns up all these years later, trained by one of our own. You think a Jedi taught her? Even a hologram can tell me that.
We must alert the High Council.
Even a hologram can tell you that, can it?
So, would be obliged to inform the Senate ourselves.
Why would they inform the Senate? It's the High Council. That's not how that works. Oh, again, we're going way off track here in regards to the Jedi answering and telling the Senate everything. Like, even in the prequels, the Jedi had their own Jedi business that they didn't report anything back to the Senate. So why would they be obliged to have to give that information up? It's just dumb. It's so that we don't have to see Yoda.
We must learn who trained her.
You can't act. This is the other thing too, is like, obviously she's not a Jedi. She apparently just needs a hologram to know, a hologram to know that she's been trained by a Jedi. She couldn't possibly be trained by anybody else, not witches or anything like that, even though they know that these people are out there elusive in the universe, possibly doing these things based on other reports and the past. And again, we've talked about her killing 2 Jedi Masters so far, targeting 4 Jedi Masters, and it does sort of destroy Kiadi Mundi's line about, the Sith, the dark side hasn't been sensed in a millennia. It's just stupid. If he knew this,
Master Barestra, please.
why didn't he mention it?
What I saw fall. No one could have survived that.
Yeah. Why are they
Let me be the one to
looking
bring
so
her in.
suspiciously over?
Do we have something she wants?
Osha. Or Sol. See what, she thinks she's a Jedi even though she tried to stun her. Doesn't have a saber. I guess she only saw her very quickly.
I don't want May to get hurt. I know you don't either.
No, she does. She tried to
May's
shoot her.
Good in her.
She's a murderer.
Man, you are flip-flopping all over the place in this episode,
But
Osha.
she's still your family.
Warning transmissions.
There's Plo Koon.
What's puzzle? Is he or they?
There's your pronouns. Is he or they with us?
Any questions?
It's just
No,
stupid
very-
putting that in there.
Comprehend.
Big and hairy.
Hey, at least they're using some sort of translator.
Well, it's mine now.
Well, it's actually the property of the Jedi Order, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to insist that you hand it over.
So what, you're going to let her go on this mission without any form to defend herself? Wouldn't you ask for it back after the mission? Not before? Just so many things don't make sense.
The local.
How do we find him?
We have a tracker.
Oh. Okay. They've got a tracker. Okay, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. What is he sniffing? Whose piece of clothing is it? Kalnaka's or whatever the hell his name is? Kalnaka? The Wookiees? Where'd they get that from? How long's he been in the forest for? Is it May's? Is it the I mean, they're not tracking May as far as they know. Like, what did they make him sniff? Whose was it? And where'd they get it from? It's just designed to push the plot forward and there's no explanation for how they have something that belongs to the Wookiee for this tracker to sniff. And I also want to remind you that May and Agent Ezra Miller have been here, a lot longer than they have. How long did it take them for them to travel from Coruscant to this planet? And in that time, May said that there's only 3 hours of daylight left. So have we gone into the next day and did they, stop to rest somewhere? Or is it still the same day? And how many hours left do we have now? That means it took them an hour, half an hour immediately? Again, no time duration in these shows, nothing whatsoever.
I'm not upset. I am concerned for your safety.
You don't
Lord,
seem
I'm asking
concerned
for
for her safety when you're asking for the blaster back.
Soul thinks that May can be saved.
This is
Master
so
Soul is a
pathetic.
wise Jedi.
Touch it. Stupid.
Oh, sure.
I have it.
It's funny how it went after Soul when it was targeting Osha to begin with.
Let's move.
That's so pointless.
We're not defined by what we lose. We're defined by what we survive. You've survived a lot.
That's to make it sound so profound. Wouldn't it have been better if you're not defined by what we lose, but we're defined by when we lose it, how we move forward? Something like that.
I want this more than anything, but it's impossible.
It's so funny. Earlier in the episode, he was saying, how do you do that? How are you supposed to kill a Jedi without a weapon? And now she's saying that it's impossible, and he's saying, no, it's possible. So dumb. And this episode has been boring as hell.
Don't see him.
I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to kill a Jedi without a weapon. I don't need to keep this deal.
What? It's coming down.
What?
You were wrong. Osha being alive changes everything. My loyalty is to Osha, not your master.
As a kid, you wanted to kill her. Why? Why are we flip-flopping these characters like this in one goddamn episode? She doesn't need to keep the deal anymore. She doesn't need to kill Jedi without the weapon. Wasn't she wanting to kill these Jedi because of what they did to her coven, to her family, to the lesbian witches? Osha wants to kill May or doesn't care about May because of what she did in regards to lighting the fire. What is going on?
And then turn myself into the Jedi.
No, stop.
Why do you think that's a good idea?
The Jedi will put you in prison.
Of course they will.
Not after I tell them who I know.
What? You killed 2 Jedi Masters already. What the hell? That makes no sense.
You wouldn't let me confront my own Olega.
You weren't ready.
But I'm ready now.
This is different.
No, it's not.
I feel different.
Do you now?
I sense things again.
You're not going to face her.
Then
You're
why'd you
going to
bring
face
her?
your past and everything.
Well, at least May wants to go with you now. Idiot. Wouldn't the Wookiee come out after hearing that? Again, I got to point out that I do find it funny that they pretty much arrive at Kalnaka's hut at the same time, but yet when they landed on this planet, they were still on Coruscant. Just think about that for a second. Is he asleep? Oh, he's dead. By a lightsaber wound. I gotta point something out here. If you're gonna swipe at somebody with a lightsaber, wouldn't that slice right through them? Why are you skimming them like it's a blade of a sword? Like a flesh wound? I mean, I know that, and talk about a pussy, like people getting stabbed in Disney Star Wars and surviving those stabbings, but he just gets sliced across the chest and he's dead. But you've got probably more of a chance of surviving a slice like that than you do being run through with a lightsaber. But like, wow. They use the lightsabers and it's like it's got a sharp edge on it. And it's just giving him like a scar across here. If a lightsaber has hit you, right, going across the torso, that top section would probably like slide off the bottom section. Oh, God, I'm so glad we're near the end of this episode. Oh, the Master. Oh, and it got dark real quick.
In the name of the Galactic Republic and the Order of the Jedi.
Oh, my God. Hang on, May. I know that, like, you could run out there and say, my master is here somewhere. I arrived and he's already dead. Because don't you want to hand yourself now over to the Jedi? Now, they may not believe you, but wasn't that your plan? Because everything has changed and you want to see May? Wouldn't you just run outside? Run outside. Quickly explain what's happened. My master is here. He killed the Wookiee. It wasn't me. And I want to go with you. Take me. Place me under arrest. Let me explain the situation. Wasn't that what you wanted, May? She looks out and sees Osha out there now. Oh my God. He floats. Sorry, she floats. You can't half tell that it's a woman.
What is that?
Powerful. Very powerful. And that's the end of the episode. Thank God for that. Look, in all honesty, that was really boring. Really boring. We're just traveling along. And again, the characters just keep flip-flopping in regards to like their motivations, what they want to achieve. Based on my reactions and how I was going through it, I don't think I really need to say any more than that. What I said at the beginning still stands in regards to Kiadi Mundi, which is just complete and utter law breaking and destruction of actual Star Wars. As bigoted as that language is for you idiots out there. And Osha keeps flip-flopping her motivations. May keeps flip-flopping her motivations. I dare say, you know what? I just thought of something. I dare say a lot of people are going to say that the Asian Ezra Miller is the master, Smilo Ren. I think that's misdirection. If anyone out there is actually saying that, I think that it is still one of the witches, right? That's floating in. That's ridiculous. I still think it's one of the witches. And the reason why he gets tied up and then we don't see him after that is to basically create that mystery box so people theorize it. I think it's plainly obvious. I mean, I could very well be wrong. I don't know that obviously 100%. I could be wrong. But at the end of the day, this episode was boring. It was filler. We don't even see the Wookiee get killed. It wasn't May that kills the Wookiee. Why would the Master want revenge on these 4 particular Jedi if it wasn't one of the witches? Where the Asian Ezra Miller guy was apparently had a deal with this Master and owes the Master now. A lot of the dialogue is just filler. There's nothing there. Again, nothing there. This episode isn't, I will say, as bad as last week's episode, episode 3, but it's still pretty bad. I mean, the destruction of actually having Mundi in there, the way that the characters are all acting. I want to check something just really quickly here too. Oh no, he's there. I was going to say, I didn't say Plo Koon there, but he's actually there. Anyway, that's the episode. I don't even really know what more to say. I wanted to put that rant that I had about Mundi at the beginning of the video because I know not everybody watches right to the end. So that's why I put that there. I might even clip that out and just either make that a separate video or just chuck it on Twitter for everybody to see why their justifications for it are stupid. But yeah, this episode was pretty pointless. Pretty pointless. Things just happen and all we're doing is walking and talking. And a lot of the dialogue doesn't make sense. Leslie Edlund's wife can't act for shit. Sorry about that, but she just can't. And this episode was just really bad. I can't believe that May, wants to turn herself in now. I don't need to go through with this deal. They will forgive me once I explain to them what we've been doing and what's been happening. You reckon? You reckon after killing 2 Jedi Masters, and you did kill 2 Jedi Masters, that they're just going to forgive you because you're going to tell them about the Master that you have no idea who it is? What actual information are you going to give to them that they don't already know, that Sol didn't already pull out of your head in episode 2? It's just so dumb. It's so pathetic. And then, of course, you had the pronoun bit, which, again, is just thrown in there for identity politics, bullshit, garbage. This is so fan fiction-y. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. And like I said, each episode that we continue to get, I wonder what lore aspect or canon aspect or continuity aspect they're going to destroy next week. That's really what the question is now. The mystery box is, what will they destroy next? Anyway, let me know your thoughts of the episode in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the entire series so far in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on Casual Rage for the full breakdown of the episode, and we'll see you next week for episode 5. Later, guys.